Welcome to Friday, TGIF. It's October 4th, 2024. Well, we actually have more space weather to talk about than, normal weather, as the forecast calls for windy periods and a good chance for aurora borealis. Literally, that's your forecast. We have more chances for auroras than we do rain or snow. As you can see, the active sunspot area right here that Jan Curtis captured yesterday is going to be throwing out and has been throwing out solar flares. Two big coronal mass ejections coming towards Earth. For regular weather, though, same old song and dance. We've seen this movie before. Cold front will go along the U.S.-Canadian border, making it windy and warm, then cooler. Extreme fire dangers will continue. We got to be very careful, extremely careful over the next 48 hours because of the wind and the low humidity, and the warmth will make for extreme fire danger. Now, next week, mostly quiet again. We just are going to go through the motions of this little bit of an up and down temperature pattern. Now, this next weekend, part of that low that's up in the Gulf of Alaska could send something further south and west into the Rockies. By next weekend, might bring a little bit of weather, maybe. That's something to watch. But the bigger changes, the real significant changes, still are going to wait till the 18th or beyond. This geomagnetic storm that's coming up, in fact, it's a strong geomagnetic storm that's being predicted. Could it be on the levels of what we had in May when the aurora just really was amazing? Maybe. Not saying we're going to get a repeat, but this is possibly a good event coming on up. So for you aurora watchers, you photographers out there, get ready. With the elk fire up near Dayton and Ranchester and Sheridan, got a great photo here of the drones that they use to help out. Now, I got to tell you, you can't just normal people go out and fly drones over fires. Those are not allowed. What you're seeing here is a very special image here that Henry shot in terms of being able to use drones to aid in firefighting. Again, don't go and throw your own drone out there. That's just not legal. But you can see the quote there from Henry that winds were in their favor yesterday. Now, today and tomorrow, the winds are probably not going to be nearly as cooperative. Let's hope, though, that we can keep things under control. But the next 48 hours will be a bit of a problem. Now, let's talk about space weather. This is from spaceweather.com, and you can read it there. What they're basically saying and what NASA is saying, that between today and up through the 6th, we've got 3 days in a row where geomagnetic storm levels are going to be very high. And there are some interesting things that happen this time of year that allows auroras in the fall to be a bit more prevalent. It can get quite complicated. I'm not going to go into that, but this is going to offer a real opportunity like it did maybe in May. We had an X 9.1 flare recently happen, and that's the strongest so far. We had a 9.0 during the May event, and this is the prediction for today, for Saturday, and Sunday. Again, auroras can be fickle, but this is going to likely be an opportunity for low, mid-latitude aurora sightings. So be ready. Sky conditions should generally be clear during the evening and nighttime hours. Watch that K index. Right now it's low, but that K index, once it starts to hit to 4, 5, 6, and higher, is when you're likely going to see things. Again, go to spaceweather.com or NASA's website to keep track of things. All that pink that you see right here, this is all red flag warnings for extreme fire danger. So you can see all of Wyoming, except in the far southeast, and a lot of the region is under this because of the front moving through the region today. And there it is. The tight gradient right here is going to make it windy, and cooler air does come in behind it. So this is going to cause that yo-yo effect in temperatures. Here are the wind gusts between now and Sunday. Now, most of this happens over the next 36 hours, but you can see very strong winds along the border, Montana, and parts of Wyoming, very, very windy through parts of the northern Great Basin as well. So be ready for a wind event. So things as tinder dry as they are, hopefully we can get through the next 48 hours because there's no precipitation. The precipitation is right along the path and north of the lows right there. By the middle of the week, this is by Thursday, boy, gets tired of the same old thing here. High pressures overhead. Now, things are starting to change out here in the Pacific a little bit. It's not exactly the same, but we're still under a high pressure ridge all the way through most of the work week next week. And as we go out a little bit further, we'll see that this activity up here will start to change. And we start to see this change by Saturday. Now, it's not strong, but there is a little piece of this big low gets pushed off, and this is likely going to slide towards and near the Four Corners area by Sunday into Monday. So could there be some weather with this? Maybe. Clouds, precipitation? Maybe. We'll just have to watch. I'm not terribly excited about the prospects from this. It's not terribly strong or cold, but it's the most we've seen in a while, and it arrives by next weekend. So things got to change up here, but there's another really big low. But when we go and take a look further out, I'm going to do the same thing I showed you yesterday. We're going to take a look at the European model out to 2 weeks and the European artificial intelligence version, and we're seeing things different. So see the consolidation of the cold up here, and the pattern here, which is what we've got to change, is changing. We've got a strong jet stream wind that's going to want to come in more from the northwest to southeast. You can really see that here on the AI. So we're still looking at around and just after the 18th when things change. And we're seeing a high pressure ridge on the AI model wanting to build here in the Eastern Pacific where we need it to nudge up into here to send this weather south. So it's the 18th and after that anything really significant. Maybe next weekend that little low could bring us something. Until then, high and dry. Now, another way to look at this is when we also have 30-day model tools that go out to 45 days, 30 to 45 days. I want to show you the front end of the forecast, which is the period of time basically from this Sunday through the following week. So basically this is from October 7th to October 14th. These are the temperature anomalies. So you can see how warm it's going to be through October 14th, basically. Very warm across the central and west. But if we go out a little bit further and look at the later periods, this is what we see. This is the week from just the 24th to the 1st of October to November. So basically this is the week up through Halloween. So you can see the western United States getting much colder. If we go out to the middle of November, much colder. Basically, this is the 180 we've been talking about. So we still see that, but it's literally another 10 to 15 days of more of the same. When we look at the snow forecast through 30 days, this takes us through November 4th. It's actually showing snow getting further south into a lot of the western United States. So the models continue to see changes in the Pacific, and if you go out to 45 days, by the 18th of November, well, we're starting to see things get a little bit more like they should. But in the meantime, it's the same old song and dance, but we've got that chance for Aurora Borealis, so get your cameras ready and hope that they come to fruition. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.